Evening and welcome to this week's edition of What's Going On. I'm your host, Pastor Akin Bandele. Well, we've got a great program for you tonight. It's going to be the continuation of our program from last week. Excuse me. So we want you to go ahead and share the video. Also, if you are not subscribed to our channel, go ahead and subscribe right now. And also press that notification bell so that when we come live, you will be notified. Excuse me. I have some guests tonight. Amen. And we're gonna continue our conversation. I know last week we were talking about people that are serving a life sentence. But really, it was about marriage, and I was glad to have about a couple of my guests with me, and also my wife. So tonight, Lady Betty is here, and I see Brianna Brown. Brianna Brown is here with us. God bless you, Lady Bree, Lady Betty. God bless both of you. How you all doing tonight?
I'm doing really, really good, Pastor. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing better than I deserve.
Amen.
Lady Betty, how you doing?
All right, Pastor. I'm a little dry. I've been hanging out with Pastor on the fish pond.
Oh, you shiny. Look at your forehead shiny. What you got on your face? You look like you got some grease all on your face.
And I had to put some Vaseline on there.
It's not good
dry.
for camera. It is not good for camera. You ought to take Lady Betty off of camera for a minute, let her go clean that oily stuff off.
Oh, Pastor.
It doesn't look good on camera.
I don't mind it. I don't.
I do, because you look like I just fry you in some Crisco oil.
And you did. So it's all right.
Tim, you'll take her off, let her go put some powder on. I can't see her. All I'm seeing is the glycerin.
I don't have no powder.
All right. Well, we're going to continue our conversation tonight. Good evening, John Gideon. God bless you. Alice, Graham, God bless you. Good evening. Well, you all invite everybody. Go ahead and invite your friends, have them to join us in conversation tonight. If you have questions, feel free to send me those questions, and we will respond to your questions. Also, if you have a comment, you can also type your comment. I will read the comment live. I was actually going to create a number for you to call. But you know what? If you have a question, let me see what I'm going to do tonight. You can call. If you have a question or a comment, you can call. I'm going to see if I can put you on speaker. Hopefully, I won't mess up my AV team tonight. I forgot to let them know that. But if you have a question or a comment, you can call. I'm going to give you the number to call. Call 713-777-5000. 713-777-5000. So you can call that number, and if I may be able to pick it up, and then I'll put you on speaker so you can come live. Okay? Well, Lady Bree, tonight we are talking about, for better, for worse. So I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to call on Lady Betty. How long have you been? Tell us how long you have been married, and also tell us what has been the better what has been good in the marriage and what has been bad. So tell us the better and tell us the worst. And then Lady Betty going to do the same thing. Lady Betty, look at your camera. You're looking somewhere else. Thank you.
I'm
you're praying for
writing,
Lady Betty
Pastor.
tonight. She got burned up.
I'm writing.
All right. So Lady Bree, talk to us.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been married to my husband, William Clay Brown, for 8 years. And I would say the better has just been being able to have a partner that I'm doing, as you say, life with. We have grown together tremendously just from when we were friends, when we were young adults to where we are now. So whether that's been in career, whether that's spiritually, we just have truly grown together, and we laugh about it all the time, just where we used to be to where we are now. So that's always the better. The fact that we have our 2 children, we never imagined, us being together and having kids. So being able to be for that, being there for that has been the better. It has been amazing. Watching him grow within his company and his job, that has been the better. I've been in the front seat for that. So all of that is the better. As far as worse, I would say we both have dealt with the death of our parents, one of our parents in our families. So that has been on the for worse side. And then if you guys do not know, if you're tuning in, I'm also a military wife. So I've had to deal with my husband going on missions and kind of being a solo parent, which has been pretty hard sometimes, but it comes with the job. But I would say that's kind of been like on the worst side sometimes.
Talk about that. I want to talk for better is good, but let's talk about this for worse. Now, when you got married, you knew you married a military man, and that he may have to be deployed for different missions and stuff. How did it strain the marriage or the relationship? Or what were you feeling when he was deployed, even though it wasn't for long? Talk to us.
Yeah, so it's definitely what I signed up for. I knew that he was in the military, and I knew that it was a possibility that he would have to leave. It was the time that he had to leave, which was hard for us. So I had my son in 2018, and my husband was set to deploy to Africa about 3 months after his birth. And so I didn't imagine at all ever in life that I would be going through, the very first year of childbirth by myself. I never imagined that whatsoever. So it was very hard, just because I'm used to having my husband here with me. This is a new experience for both of us, yet he's having to do everything, via FaceTime, which I know for him on his end, I had a hard time, but I can only imagine how he felt as well, being only, able to see it via FaceTime and different things like that. So as far as a strain, I would say that it just caused us we missed each other like a lot, and there were times, if I'm being open, I probably felt really bad that day. I probably was extremely sad, extremely tired, but I didn't want to technically voice that because I know he probably felt the same way. And so on the same end, he probably didn't want to express it to me because he didn't want me to feel bad, and I didn't want him to feel bad either. So I think that was the strain, just not being able for him to see those moments with our son, our son taking his first step or saying his first word or just being there for all the little things that he does. He wasn't able to see that. So that was pretty much like the strain. But again, I know it's something that I signed up for, but we know sometimes with the military, things change, and so it was very, very difficult that first year.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Brianna. Lady Betty, let's come to you. Tell us how long you've been married to this handsome guy, and what is the better and what is the worst?
Okay, Pastor, we've been married almost 36 years, and it's been a beautiful journey. The good part about it is we did everything together. We work together, we do activities together. The journey has been wonderful. You were always there whenever I went to have our babies. You were right there working with me, helping me with them after they were born. We've just been an awesome team in all that we have done together. Those were the best things the good, a lot of good with our sporting activities, going bowling, going fishing, going golfing, just we working together. We just did a lot together and it's just been so good. Pastoring, ministering together. We do a lot together and that's what's so good about the journey that we on, about that life sentence. So I was trying to think of what could be the worst. And I don't particularly see that we have gotten to the worst yet. So I don't know what the worst could be.
I think for me, I think when you lost your dad, that was hard for me because I was very close to Mr. Marlborough. I remember everything he did for me before I married you. I mean, he was willing to kill somebody for me. That man would not let nobody hurt me in Louisiana. I remember coming over there and somebody was trying to mess up my car. Mr. Marlborough went and got his gun. He was going to kill him. He put me in the car. He said, let's go look for that ninja. I'm going to kill him. And then when you lost your brother, Eugene, that was also tough because I was very close to Eugene. Eugene called me, brother-in-law, brother-in-law, brother-in-law. Oh, come on, go get me that, brother-in-law. So I missed that. It was tough for me. And then when you lost your baby brother, Chelsea, that was also tough. And then when I lost my mother, it was hard. But as far as for better, for worse, like you said, Lady Betty, I don't think anybody know what the worst will be until you get there. You don't know what the better will be either until you get there. So you just, you're doing this life together. Well, thank you very much for those comments. I see my twin sister is with us, Minister Yolanda Ford. Good evening. Good evening to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Pastor. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I checked with your parole officer. They said you were okay. So, tonight I just asked them a question. Tell us how long you have been married and what has been the better, what has been the worst since you've been married.
Okay, well, I have actually been married 9.5 years. Coming up next April, it'll be 10 years actually that I've been married. I would say the betterment would basically be just the way that we allow ourselves to, I'm going to say, communicate, whereas he knows what he's responsible for. I kind of know what I'm responsible for. And just being able to get along that way. I'm a traveler. I love to travel. So he's come aboard with traveling. So we love to do, travel stuff like that. As far as being the betterment of it, I would say when you asked about being the worst, I guess the worst, basically, when you have two individuals that are completely different, coming from two different sides of the road. Him coming from the north side, me coming from the south side, being raised totally separate. He was raised with his parents, both parents, mom and dad, whereas I was not. Us just trying to come together. I never forget, even with simple stuff like toothpaste, right? He would do his toothpaste one way, I would do mine another way. I would just squeeze it wherever I want to squeeze
so
it.
You have you got two different toothpastes at the house? Mm-hmm. Oh my Lord, you want to do what I've been talking about. Okay.
We got two. That keeps down confusion. Because
right.
If I don't do it a certain way, then he doesn't like the way I do it. So to keep down confusion, here's yours.
So you got your own, so you can murder the toothpaste and just strangle it and twist it all kind of way. Oh, Lord,
so just being able to come together, because keep in mind, I was married before and he was married before. So when we came together, we had two of everything. 2 toasters, 2 blenders, towels everywhere. And it came to the point that he would throw away my stuff. He'll be like, well, we don't need this. Like his stuff was better. I was like, no, you can't throw away my stuff, you know? So we ended up with 2 toasters, you know, having 2 toasters. And eventually I got rid of mine because his was better. But just being able to come together in a spirit of unity, being able to come together without, you know, any friction, I guess was the hardest part for me and for him too, when we could find that common ground.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm gonna go to my viewers right now. Somebody said, Lady Betty, that you are capping. They said, Mama Betty, you are being nice. LOL. Laugh out loud.
Well,
They said for you to be real with them, that you were just being nice to me. So can you respond to that?
in all honesty, and I thought I was being very truthful because I haven't got to the worst. I didn't say that we didn't have struggles or differences, but when it comes to the worst, I don't think that I've gotten to the worst. And I'm hoping that there's not a worst, even though we say for better or for worse. You know,
well, why don't we do this? Since we don't know what the worst is, why don't we, each of you, share your struggles to the men you are married to, and then, God willing, if possible, I'm going to invite Lady Bree's husband next week, and then I'm going to invite Minister Yolanda Ford's husband also next week. So I'm going to talk to him first. You know, I'm going to talk to both of those husbands first to let them know. I want to have them on camera. If they agree to it, then we will have them on camera next week. So any capping you have done, I'm gonna have to check with them. So,
all right.
Well, let me start with Lady Betty. Lady Betty, what are the struggles? And then the same question for Lady Bree, the same question for Minister Ford.
Okay, it's similar to some of the things that Minister Yolanda said regarding the differences being brought up in 2 different types of backgrounds, where you are always so protective of me, and I became so upset. And if you notice, I'm grown, I could do this, I could do that. So those were some of the struggles, the differences, the way you do things and the way I did them. And I think our biggest struggle to me was the way we were with the children. To me, that's were our biggest struggles, because you treated them one way and I treated them another, and us trying to come together and agree.
In the proper way, right?
Oh, Lord. If you say so, Pastor.
And you spoil them right.
So.
I'm trying not to spare the rod.
I find that a lot of our struggles were not necessarily between the 2 of us. It was always when we added the children or some other outside person, entity, you know, that would come in. And I think that brought a lot of struggles in our lives.
We've had some crazy folk, y'all. I'm telling you right now. We're in 36 years, we have had some haters, some crazy nuts, to where if I wasn't saved, I would have sent them back to you. I would have sent them to Jesus. But because I'm saved, I'm telling you, we have some crazy nuts that want to destroy our marriage. They want to blackmail us. They want to take money from us. All kind of stuff. It was crazy. Like she said, it's always been this external force that they don't like what you have because they don't have it. They are haters because they can't have what you have, so they're going to try to tear you down. But overall, yeah, Lady Betty, thank you very much for that. Minister Ford, what about you? What are the struggles?
I was sitting up there thinking as you asked that question, what are really the struggles? You know, it's hard when you have.
If you cap tonight, I know one of them, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What's one of them?
Look at her face. Look at her face. Well, tell us then. I wish I had my cap button over where I can press the button. That's the cap. I know one of the struggles, and if you don't share it, I'm going to share it.
What's the struggle, Pastor?
You
What's the
tell me.
struggle?
You tell me.
Well, you
I'm
say
your
you
twin-
know.
I'm your twin brother. Tell us some of your struggles.
You know, Pastor, as you say that, I begin to think about two people trying to come together. And anytime you have two people trying to come together, there's always going to be a struggle. In one way or another, I feel like there would be a struggle. And I guess it's personality wise, you know, my personality, his personality, they're different. What I might think might be good, he might think is not good. But just being able to come to that place of compromise, come to that place that we can agree upon what we need to agree upon,
Well,
right?
I'm going to tell you one of your struggles, one of the struggles that I know, because you're my twin
Okay,
sister.
go ahead.
You know, my brother, you know, Yolanda's husband, he has certain belief system when it comes to ministry.
Mm-hmm.
He really doesn't believe in a woman usurping authority over men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked to him at length.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot stand when women take authority over men, or when they try to lead men instead of men leading them. And I know it was because I met with him actually before. See, Minister Ford, before we ordained her, I had to talk to her husband. And because his concern was, number one, she won't have a big head and coming home and thinking she's a King Kong minister. Number two, he wanted to make sure that she is not usurping authority over any man in the church. And that's going to have some of you that are listening to us tonight. And after I had a conversation with him, I said, you know, I think people misunderstand what ministry is all about. When somebody is a minister, that doesn't mean they are a pastor or a prophet or whatever. It just means they are ministering. As a mother, you minister to your children. As a supervisor, you minister to people that work for you. As a neighbor, you minister to your neighbors that may lose loved ones or whatever. So I think sometimes when we talk about ministry, some people feel like it's about preaching. And that's not what ministry is all about. Ministry is about actually reaching out to people and helping them with their life challenges. So the struggle was, I had to have a long conversation with my brother, Brother Ford, and said, listen, I'm not going to come between you and your wife, but I'm also guaranteeing you that as a man of God, your wife, I've known her a long time. She ministered the word really well, but I want her to be over our children church, our children ministry. And for me to put her as a minister over the children church, I have to ordain her. And he was able to reason with me, and he just laughed. You know, if you know, I mean, well, hopefully you get to meet him next week. He just laughed, and he is not, I mean, he's not shy about letting the scriptural views be known. And that's what I love about him. He would debate that scriptures with you. So I think it was a struggle. And one thing I love about my sister Yolanda, one thing I love about you was you didn't even want me to do the ordination. You said, oh, no, 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 no. My husband ain't having that.
Yeah.
So, you know, for some of you that are out there listening to this, I mean, you may be thinking, so everything has not always been the bed of roses. I remember Lady Betty and I, when I was going to go be an assistant pastor somewhere else, before we actually started a new covenant, oh, Lord have mercy. She can, I mean, she lost it. She got mad, and why did they want to do things? I mean, it wasn't really, you know, sweet. No, we're going to go into ministry. She didn't sign up for that. So anyway, thank you very much, Minister Ford, and I pray and hope that we can have your husband with us next week. Amen. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him and see if I'm going to share some things with him, and then I'm the one that's going to, you don't need to invite him. I'll invite him. I'm the host, so I really want to invite him. Also, I hope I can get Brother Brianna's husband to be with us next week also, so that I want to share, I want to hear from them. Well, I've got somebody online, Young Gideon. That's hard one because you have a long journey. I keep that in prayer. You will be home as much as possible. Okay, Young Gideons, why don't you call 713-777-5000? And I will put you on speaker. I can understand your comment. All right. Well, if you are just joining us tonight, we are gathering tonight to talk about for better, for worse in marriage. And this is this week's edition of What's Going On. I'm your host, Pastor Akimbandele. I have my guests with me, Lady Bree, and also Minister Ford, and also Lady Betty, my beautiful wife. Well, family, let me say, let's start with Lady Betty. What advice will you give to young married couples that have been married maybe a year, 2 years, or 5 years about doing life sentence? What advice will you give them? And then I'm going to ask each one of you to do the same thing. You got about 3 minutes.
Number one would be to always include God in your relationship, because without God, there would be no marriage. It was God that instituted the marriage. So being able to trust him and allow his word, and I'm speaking to believers, allowing his word to be your application, what you use to live life with your lifetime partner. When there is a disagreement, you can always find an answer to how to come together in unity, how important it is to have unity in the marriage. Not necessarily that you will always agree with how things are being done, but also don't be angry and allow yourself to separate from one another, whether mentally, physically, or emotionally. Always stay attached to one another. There is very important that we be faithful in the marriage so that there is a trust in the marriage. And if you are inferior and you feel something, I like what my daughter once said, be open, be willing to say that this is how I felt when this is how I felt when a certain situation happened, not using accusations or accusing your spouse, but us learning how to communicate well, choosing the right words with one another. And also, love grows and grows and grows.
Amen. Amen.
That's good.
Thank
That's
you very
good.
much, Lady Betty. Jay Myers, I'm going to have you call 713-777-5000. Jay Myers, I've been listening to you. I've been looking at your comments. Call 713-777-5000, and I'm going to put you on live. All right, Minister Ford, your turn, 3 minutes.
Yeah, so the advice I would give a young married couple would be, think of marriage like a construction field. It's always going to be something that you've got to work out, something that you've got to build upon. And I like what Sister said in reference to communication, because it all stems behind communication, having that good communication that you don't necessarily tear down, because remember, it's a construction field, but allowing your communication to be good communication, that you're constantly building up one another, you're constantly encouraging one another, not necessarily coming against just because you're angry, you're mad, and you want to bring them down. Because when you think about two people coming together, two different individuals coming together, that's not an easy process. You will have differences. You will have different opinions. You will not necessarily see things the exact same way, but you have to be able to understand that it's bigger than that, and being able to communicate in an effective way. That way you guys can continue to move in that same direction, that you won't say something only to come back later and say, I'm sorry I said that. Okay, but then you turn around and you say, I'm sorry I said that again. You really wasn't sorry. You really wasn't, because if you were, you wouldn't keep doing it, right? But just understanding how to have good communication.
Okay. My caller that just called, go ahead and call back. I got you, but go ahead and John Giddens, go ahead and call back. I'm gonna put you on live, but when you call, just hold up on the line. Hold on the line until I put you on. Okay. So Jean, I saw you call and I put you on hold, but you hung up. Go ahead and call back. All right, Lady Bree.
So I would say, for those who are desiring to be married, or for those who are still in their early years of marriage, to understand that although you may have some wonderful examples of marriage around you, your marriage is still your marriage with your husband or with your spouse. It is not going to look like anyone else's, because you're still two different individuals, as we always said, and you guys are coming together. So make
Lady
it.
Bree, hold on, caller on the line, just hold on, okay? I'm gonna put you on as soon as Lady Bree finishes. Go ahead, Lady Bree.
So basically just make it, what you and your husband can. You make it what you want it. And I'm going to speak specifically for those younger wives as well. One thing that I struggled with so bad in the beginning was that I came in with the expectation of trying to be just like this perfect wife. And I know that there's no such thing. However, I attempted to be this perfect wife. I was trying to have it all together, and I did not have it all together. And that's completely okay. So with your husband, with your spouse, you guys are again doing this life together, and you're growing throughout this entire thing together. So understand that there's going to be some bumps in the road. You guys are not going to always get it right. At the beginning of my marriage, my husband would tell you all the time, cooking for me was, we was warming up things a lot, but it's something that I begin to grow with. So do not have the thought.
You were just fixing it.
I was fixing. I absolutely was. But today I'm cooking. Okay. I'm cooking today. So it was something that I had to grow with. So just understand that you guys are going to be doing, it's going to be different. This is something that's completely new. There's no such thing as a perfect husband. There's no such thing as a perfect wife, but you guys are coming together and make your marriage your marriage.
All right,
Amen.
all right. I'm gonna get my caller on right now. Caller number one, Jean. Go ahead and speak to us. Caller, go ahead. Okay, turn your go ahead and turn down your hold on. Caller.
A military wife and everything.
Turn your system down. We are getting the feedback. Turn your television down. Okay, there we go. Now, go ahead.
And then the comment that I typed was for Lady Bree when she was talking about being a military wife and having him absent when she had the baby and everything. It just made me think about, being not having my spouse at times when I'm not feeling well or I'm sick, and him not being there, and how difficult that is. So I was just saying that I pray that the time that she needs him most will not be times that he's being deployed.
So your husband, Jean, your husband was also in the military. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying I just understand what it would feel like to not have your spouse with you at times when you really need him present, and how hard that could be. So I was just saying that I pray for her that the times that, she needs him the most will not be times that he actually has deployed.
I see. Jean, how long have you been married? 18 years. 18 years. Well, congratulations, and thank you for sharing that with us. Do you have any advice you would like to share with my viewers tonight?
Been a pretty great ride. I was thinking about the question that you asked. I could think about the for better, but it was hard to think about for worse, because it's been a blessing.
Okay.
And I haven't experienced the for worse yet. So I'm just grateful for that. And we do everything together. We communicate, we share everything, and God has really blessed our union through that.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you, John. Thank you for joining us on our program tonight. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that you all heard it from the colleague. Well, you Lady Betty, Minister Ford, Lady Brick, could you all hear her?
Yes,
Yes.
Very, very
yes,
good, very good, very
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get better with this calling now. I'm waiting on Jonathan Myers. He was making some
Yeah.
comments. I'm waiting on him to call, and when he calls, we'll be able to answer that. All right. I've got a couple of viewers that send their comment. J Lyric said, "Your marriage is your marriage. It is your personal journey. Your marriage is
Amen.
your marriage. It is your
Mhm.
personal journey." Ethel Simpson, married couples have to have what is, okay, I can't even understand what she's saying here. Married couples, can somebody tell me what she said married couples have to have what is called the what is called the want to attitude. I want my marriage to work, but don't lose your job. Please don't get sick. I don't understand what she's saying. I don't understand the comment. All right. Thank you very much, Ethel Simpson, for your comment, but I don't understand the comment. Maybe the typing is not coming out right. Please don't get sick. If so, I'm gone. Don't get sick.
Sick.
So
Does she
in
mean
other
sick?
words,
Maybe she's
yeah.
talking
So
about
in
don't
other
get sick.
right, in other words, everything goes well as long as everything is fine. But if you get sick, don't get sick, because you get sick, then we go for the worse, and we might not necessarily maybe be
Oh,
together.
okay. I see what she's saying now. All right. Well, Ethel Simpson, thank you very much for your comment. Thank you very much. Hakeem 18, do you think you are only meant for one person? Oh boy. Hakeem, call the number. I'm gonna put you on. Do you think you are only meant for one person? Well, let me answer that question. That's a loaded question. Do you think you are only meant for one person? I don't know where he's going with that, because if you get married, you think that's the one. If you get divorced and you remarry, that second one, you're going to say that's the one. Or if the first one passes away and you marry somebody else. So I think, do you think you are only meant for one person? I think you are only meant for one person when you are married. You're only meant for the person you are married to right now at that time. And if that person passes away, then, I mean, I think, I'm not sure, I know where he's going with this. He may be going with Adam and Eve, where Eve's rib was taken from Adam, and God made Eve. So the question is, did God take many ribs from some brothers that have 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 wives? I don't know. But I'll let him call, and then he can tell me exactly what he's wanting. But I think in a marriage, one man, one wife. One man, one wife. Does that mean that is the only person that you can be married to? No, it doesn't mean that. Because you dated several girls, so I dated several girls before I got married. I could have married any of them. But God worked it out to where I married Betty. Okay? So when I married Betty, she's the one for me at that point. And she's still the one for me 36 years later. So I'm going to let you explain your question if you call, okay? All right. Ethel Simpson just corrected her mistake. She said she meant, and don't get sick or lose your job. Some people will walk away from the marriage.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a comment? Lady Betty, I heard you talking in the background.
What I was gonna say is it possible, Pastor, for someone, as you spoke about the rib, to not marry that person per se, that the right person? Okay, because I know that sometimes we could get ahead of ourselves, I think. Now, this is my opinion, and get tied to the wrong person because we're anxious. But that was never where my rib came from. Help me with that. I don't know. Because I know people that have been married 5, 6 times. Even the woman in the Bible, Jesus responded to her that she had been married 6 times, and the one that she has now, or either 5 times, and the one that she has now is not hers, but he acknowledged all of those marriages.
So to look at the comments from Hakeem 18, he's saying, do you think you are only men? Hakeem 18, call 713-777-5000. 713-777-5000, and then we'll put you on. And God willing, next week I'll be ready to be taking these calls. We have a microphone or something like that to where we can pipe the sound so that you can hear them. But I'm going to wait for Hakeem to explain what he meant by that. But I think one man, one wife is what I believe in. Now,
That's a perfect world, though, but that's not always the intent of a person that gets married. People have different intent, and going back to what Ethel Simpson said in reference to it's good. We can be married as long as things are going good. But if things are not going good, then you go your way and I go my way. And people marry for different reasons. Just like that man that married that woman, stayed with her 12 years and ended up killing her, right? Because he wanted the life insurance, right? So the intent was wrong, even though I might feel like, hey, we both are going down this together, but the intent wasn't there because everybody ain't gonna be with you for worse. We like the good.
I see. Well, I got a caller on right now. I've got Jonathan M. Jonathan, good evening. How you doing, sir? I am doing wonderful. This is Pastor Akin on this week's edition of What's Going On. We are talking about for better, for worse. And I noticed you you threw a cap out there in my comment. I wanted to hear from you. What were you referring to, being a cap?
Well, honestly, I think I was just kind of agreeing with Sister Betty, saying that she hasn't seen the worst yet. And to me, I think in my marriage, the worst probably happened before the marriage. Okay. So that might be something that you don't necessarily have to deal with during the marriage. Sometimes you go through enough before the battle alone, just getting married, that when you get into marriage, you learn so many lessons from that, that now that you're in a marriage, you shouldn't have that issue or you've seen the worst.
And we don't really know what the worst is. Yeah. Nobody knows what the worst is. Jonathan, how long have you been married?
5 years.
5 years, okay. What has been the for better and what has been, well, tell us, we don't know what the worst is yet. We're just doing time together. So you serving, if you already served 5 years of your life sentence? Yeah. You got that boy said he got 5 to 35 years. Hopefully you have been fed, because if they're not feeding you, you can actually sue, because every prisoner must be fed. So I hope you have been fed by Dine.
Amen.
Oh, your warden is really. Well, tell us what have been, my brother Jonathan. Thank you for telling us that 5 years of marriage. How many children do you all have?
2, 1 boy, 1 girl.
You got 1 boy and 1 girl. How has it been in your marriage? Tell us about it for better, and then maybe tell us some of the challenges that you've had.
So I think for better is just knowing that I have a real woman who has my back no matter what.
Okay.
It's refreshing to know that she loves the Lord. That's pretty rare. I'm not gonna say it's pretty rare, but in today's time, that's pretty rare. Knowing that I have someone that will pray, will fast, is very good. Amen. As far as the worst, it's just challenges with raising our children, you know, not wanting to make mistakes.
Okay,
And having a son on the spectrum is pretty different.
okay,
That's probably been the most challenging.
okay. And how are you able to deal with that? You say having a child that's on the spectrum. How have you all guys been able to deal with it? Did that challenge your marriage, or did that bring a strain in your marriage when you first found out?
No, because luckily we had therapy, so therapy has really helped us out a lot.
Okay,
But you know, that's pretty much it. You know, that's probably been the most challenging thing. I mean, other than, you know, some things that may have happened before we got married, you know, me being a dog or whatever the case may be.
no, you're not a dog. You know, don't even say that about yourself. You're a good man. You were just living. Well, I mean, man gonna be man. So, but I don't want us to call our brothers dogs. Man, hey, when you are a man, you are single, you date whoever you want to date and talk to whoever you want to talk to. But I want to thank you tonight, Brother Jonathan, for for just calling in and for your honesty. Thank you for joining me on the program tonight. God bless you and your wife.
Amen.
All right. Well, you hear our caller. You know what? I'm going to get this better to where callers can actually call in and talk to us. Well, we have a few more minutes tonight on For Better For Worse. Let me go to Lady Betty. What advice will you give to a couple that feel like they are going through the worst time right now?
I would say that nothing is permanent, that is temporary,
Amen.
and that time heals and time things change it. So just hold on. There's coming a new season, a different era in your marriage. As we all stated, we go through certain points, but if you hang in there, you'll make it.
Amen. That's awesome. Thank you, Lady Betty, for that advice. Hey, viewers, you heard that? Just hang on. Change is on the way. Your change will come. Thank you, Lady Betty, for that. Now let me go to Brianna Brown.
Yes, sir. So I would say I agree with Lady Betty. Absolutely. I also think that you have someone, you're not going through it alone. So regardless of whatever the issue may be, you two are going through it together. So I rather to fight something with my husband than to be by myself and trying to fight this thing that's going on. So I would just say, as hard as it is, make sure that you are staying, praying to God consistently. Some may think it's cliche, but I think that that's going to be extremely important. And I always think about, even in my own life, I think about how there were times in the past I didn't think I was going to make it through something. And when I look at it now, it's like, oh, I didn't went through it already. And I made it through it. I survived it. So understand that you're not going to be there permanently. Like Lady Betty said, it's just a season and you just got to be able to endure and go through that season. And you're not even going to realize moving forward that, hey, you already survived that. Even when you didn't think that you were, when you look at where you are now, you survived it. And I kind of think about that throughout my life right now. When I think about the hardest times, like I didn't think we were going to get through that. Look, we made it.
Wow.
Amen.
It won't always be this way. Amen. Minister Yolanda Ford.
Hey, Pastor.
Are you up? Hey, sis. Are you with me over there?
I am.
Okay.
I would basically say if they can find a way to put aside their attitude, you know how
What do you mean?
you got an attitude, put away their attitude.
What do you mean by
Put it away.
that? Put it away, hang it in the closet, or
Hang it in the closet, do whatever. But if they can find a way to put that attitude aside, because if you're angry and I'm angry, we've got a problem. Because now you got a forest fire that's going on. And with that forest fire, somebody has got to kind of decrease in order to minimize the situation. You know how it tells us don't let the sun go down on our wrath. Sometimes we can get so angry, we just don't care. We can get so angry, we justify our anger. We can get so angry that our attitude gets in the way. But in order for it to work, that attitude, somebody has got to diminish their attitude. Because two people are angry, the first thing they say is, I don't care, whatever. Do what you want to do. And the next thing you know, we separate.
Whatever.
Next thing you know, you got one sleeping upstairs, one sleeping downstairs. Then the next thing you know, he's out the house or she's out the house. But some kind of way, we've got to check that attitude to the point that we allow ourselves to kind of submit ourselves, find that happy ground, that common ground, that you can at least be able to talk. Because once the talking stops, you've already separated. Once the talking stops, you went your way, I'm going mine. I might not be talking to you, but I'm talking to somebody. Somebody's listening to my problem. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's listening, though. So it's like just to be able to come together, diminish yourself, submit yourself, listen, communicate, and talk it out. Let them know how you feel in a respectful manner. Again, it's a construction field. Don't tear down each other by saying words that you can't take back. Because we used to say back in the day, sticks and stones may break my bones,
Come
but
on,
words will never
sister.
hurt me. That's what they used to say. But words do hurt.
Yes,
Words
they
do
do.
hurt. So if we can just find a way not to hurt each other, not to sit up and say things that's going to tear me down, but check my attitude. When I get angry, Pastor, you know what I do? I check myself and ask myself, why did I get angry? Why did I allow that situation to make me angry? And I'm trying to get to the root cause of me, not that other person now, because the other person can't make me mad unless I want to get mad, right? But why did it affect me that way? But I got to check myself. So if in a marriage, regardless of who you are, if y'all are struggling, take a step back, look in the mirror and see what the issue is. Why are you in that particular mental state where you're so angry, you don't even want to look at them, you don't even want to talk to them? What's the problem? Being able to come to some kind of communication. That's what I would.
Talking about communication, I forgot who I was listening to that said that the person and their wife or the spouse, they came to an agreement that when they are having conversation, you got 3 minutes to say anything you want to say. I will not interrupt. I will not ask questions. I will not lift up my hand. After your 3 minutes, I got my 3 minutes, and you got to give me the same respect. And it actually worked for them to where 3 minutes, timer is on. And then when you finish, whatever you say in 3 minutes, you are through. You cannot continue. And that actually helped that couple to learn how to communicate.
There you
Instead
go.
of talking at each other.
Right.
Now they're able to have conversation because you know you're going to have
Absolutely.
3 minutes that you're going to say, and I'm going to listen
Right.
for those 3 minutes. And then you give me my 3 minutes, and I don't want you to interrupt. And I don't want you thinking about how you're going to respond to what I'm saying.
Right.
Get me?
Exactly.
Amen, amen. Well, my time is up tonight, y'all. But I got a comment here from Jay Lyric Gonzalez. Jay Lyric, you will be surprised at how relationship thrives when you live minute by minute, day by day, year by year. Thank you very much, Jay Lyric. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, relationship can survive if you just take it a day at a time. And don't try to fix the other person.
But sometimes they need fixing, though, Pastor.
That again?
Sometimes they need fixing.
Well, tell me who needs fixing. You? Because anytime you point a finger, you see how many fingers is pointing at me? When you point one finger, 4 is pointing at you. And anytime there's an issue, like I always say, the issue is you. Issue is you. So don't ever, think your partner is the issue. You look at yourself, do a self-evaluation, and do what you can do, and let God deal with the other person and pray for them. Okay?
Pastor, can I
Amen.
also add to seek help as well? Now, not help from anybody, but making sure that they are seeking like godly counsel, someone that truly has their best interest at heart. Because there's no point of just keeping everything in. Y'all are not talking to anyone, but getting professional help or spiritual help to kind of guide you through that season. So I would advise that as well, of seeking help. There are people in position for that very reason. Not
Lady
saying to
Bree,
get everybody in your marriage, but
Lady
seek help.
Bree, you'll hear something on the hair right there. Let me say this. If you are married, please stop trying to get advice from single folk.
Amen.
Please. Single folk can't tell you nothing. They're still single. Okay? If you are married, you need to stop hanging out with your single sisters and your single brothers. It's time for you to get you some married couples that you can be friends with, that you all can go on double dates and learn. See, the problem sometimes is some people get married, but they still want to be single. They're married, but they want to live like they are single. What do you mean by that, Pastor? My money is my money and your money is my money kind of thing. They want to be single. Or I can go wherever I want to go, anytime I want to go, and I can come back whenever I want to come back. See, that's still living a single lifestyle. You know, when people are married and the wife, I know a couple where the wife comes home 5, 6:30 every morning on Friday night. It's like,
Excuse me? What?
woman, where have you been? Where have you been? And this husband took it for a long time to where, I mean, he would call me at 6:30 and say, hey, Pastor, my wife is still not here.
Wow.
I thought, where is a married woman at 6:30 in the morning?
Wow.
With children at home and your husband at home. And it happened with brothers too. You are married, but you are out till 4 and 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, and your wife doesn't even know where you're at.
My.
And even if they know where you're at, what are you doing at 5:30? What were you doing out at 5:30 without your wife? I mean, nothing opens after midnight but legs.
Ooh. All right, now
And
watch
so-
it, Pastor.
And you are married,
Watch
so what are you looking for out there? Anyway, that's another subject. We're gonna hang it up tonight. Hey, family, thank you for joining me. This is your host on this week's edition of What's Going On, Pastor Akibandele. Please, on next week, join us on this same station, same time, and you can bring your questions. I'm going to have the facility available where you can call in your question, and we can put your questions on and let you talk to my viewers. I want to thank my beautiful wife, Lady Betty. Thank you for doing life with me. And also I want to thank Minister Yolanda Ford for being our guest tonight, and also Lady Brianna Brown. Thank you for all of you. Thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully next week, I'm going to be able to get Yolanda's husband and also Brianna's husband to be with us on the program. I want to hear from their side. And everything that their wife has said, we're gonna table it again. What the husband
Don't
said.
start no mess.
I ain't gonna start no
Don't
trouble with
start no
nobody.
mess.
Good night, family. I love you all. Jesus
Good
loves you all.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.